Oh yeah, Damon Fowler playing live today in Studio V here at WCW. That's an old tune, huh? I shall not be moved.
Yeah.
Wait, when did you first hear it? How did it work its way into your
I've heard
repertoire?
it a bunch of times by a bunch of different people.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure who wrote the song, but I know that Mississippi John Hurt did a killer version of it.
Yeah.
And when I got into that kind of stuff, it was one of those that we were just, when we recorded, it's actually on the record.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of hanging out at the studio. And basically, how we recorded that record was we basically took some skeletons. We didn't like have finished songs. We, on purpose, Tab Benoit produced it. And he's like, when you come, just don't finish your songs, just come here and we'll work on it like that. So we were just kind of sitting around the studio talking about cool songs and stuff, and I was like, well, I'll do that one. So we did that one, and it turned out really good on the CD.
Yeah, I should mention the CD's called Sounds of Home, came out late last year or something like that.
It did.
Yeah, and it closes out. I like how you sequence it with that song closing out the disc.
Man, it's a good closer for the record.
Yeah, just so peaceful and so right. What would you do after that anyhow? Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Start it over.
Right. There you go. That's good advice. Do you do that, by the way? Do you listen to your own CD? Is that some people?
Never.
Yeah, I've
Never.
heard that. Right.
It's the most humbling thing to listen to your own records, I think.
Yeah, you listen to it like in the studio and you go, yeah, and then
Yeah, like once you're finished recording it, you record it and you listen to it over and over again, and you're like, okay. And then after that, it's like, no more.
you hear the mistakes or
It's funny when you go back and you listen to it, like, it sounds different than when you recorded it. You're in a different place, different
Sure.
perspective. And I go back and things that I thought were mistakes on other records before, when I listen to them, now I'm like, I kind of wish I did some more of that, So I think it's kind of a healthy, organic. Mistakes are good. Little mistakes every once in a while are good.
Some mistakes aren't good. I got to tell you that.
Yeah.
Damon Fowler. Well, first of all, who's in your band? You get in the trio
Well, I
today.
like to introduce the band. Right here on drums, we have Justin Headley.
All right, Justin.
We have Matt Walker on bass guitar.
All right. Does the band have a name?
You know what? Nope.
No. They haven't earned that name yet.
They're
right?
the group.
The group. You can see the group tonight, Fairview Tavern up in Asheville, and tomorrow night at the Happy Shack Music Hall in Columbus. You mentioned working with Tab Benoit. He's just a towering figure in the blues and roots world. What was that like?
Tab's great. I've known Tab for a long time. I grew up in Tampa, Florida. That's where I'm from, and there's a blues fest there they have every year, and I met him in St. Pete. He used to come to like my show after like the big show, like he'd play the big blues festival thing, and then he'd kind of trickle into the place I was playing. And he's done that for years, man, and we became friends. And so I have two projects. I have my trio, which I tour with a lot, but there's another project I'm in called Southern Hospitality, and he produced that record also. So it was just for me, it was a natural choice just to go with Tab because, it's a really organic way of doing it. He's got a studio at his house, and it's just kind of like you go and hang out and eat shrimp and drink whiskey until the mood sets, right?
Cool.
Yeah. So it was good.
How many days making the record?
That record, I think we were there for about 8 days, 7 or 8 days.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning right before we went on the air, you're working on or planning a new CD, like a live thing. Right?
Yeah, I think we're making plans right now to get a live record out. Really excited and proud of the way we sound right now. And I'd like to capture that.
Is that like I know people do that differently, like they do a show. This was the show, or they just call stuff from different.
Yeah, I don't know if we're
going
going to cherry pick a bunch of shows or if we're going to just do one. Originally, we were going to do one, but the details just didn't work out. So we're going to record that night anyway, but possibly record 3 or 4 nights and see which one turns out the best.
With this band, do you ever expand it? Do you ever bring in other voices, or is this
Yeah,
trio?
sometimes, we've done all sorts of gigs, man. We on next Monday, we're playing with a keyboard player. Sometimes we'll have a friend of mine down in Tampa sit in with us, a guy named T.C. Carr. He's a harp player. And then just a lot of musicians, the blues roots circuit, they're like kind of everybody knows each other once you get into it a little bit, and it always ends up basically turning into a jam session. So,
right. Wait. The drummer agrees.
Yeah.
What's the live? We're gonna get another song, but the live set. Do you guys ever stretch them out? Do you ever get into the endless jams?
We only know about 5 songs.
That's okay. 2 for the first set,
Right.
3 for the second.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
Cool. Damon Fowler's playing live today. And I know you do mostly your own material too, so I think it's cool that you picked that. I Shall Not Be Moved.